today's lesson, but first let's remind ourselves of what we learned in the previous lesson. So in the previous lesson, we learned that Daniel found out that they were plotting against him, and even after he found out, he did not remain silent and he continued to pray to his God, and he was not ashamed. But when the official learned that he was still breaking the law, he went to the king and they told the king, "You should throw Daniel in the pit of lions." And the king went and he ordered, and Daniel was put in the pit of lions. Yes, so after the king locked Daniel in the pit of lions, remember, a huge stone was put over the pit to close it. So after the king locked him in, he walked back to his palace, and he was so sad and he was so upset and he was so worried. When he got back to his palace, he didn't want anything or anyone. He told his servants, all of them, to go away, and he refused all of the food that he was given, and he refused music to be played, and he went to bed. So at night, the king tossed and he turned and he tossed all night and he couldn't sleep. And when morning came, when sun was rising, he quickly went and called his servants, and they told the servants, "Remove this stone from the pit." And he called out to Daniel and he said, "Daniel! Daniel, servant of God, has your God saved you?" And then he heard Daniel call out from the pit, answering, "Your Majesty! Your Majesty! God has saved me. He sent his angel to shut the mouths of the lions, and they did not hurt me, because I am blameless and I have done nothing wrong." Then the king told his servants, "Quickly, quickly, bring Daniel up and out from the pit." So they removed Daniel from the pit. And when he got to the top, the king looked at him, and there was no scratch on him anywhere. Then the king looked at the other people, looked at them very angrily, and he said, "You, the other officials and the other governors," he ordered, "throw these wicked men into the pit," because they had tried to kill Daniel. "Throw them into the pit." And quickly his orders were obeyed, and the people were taken and they were thrown into the pit. And this time the mouths of the lions were not shut. So children, what we learn from this story is, if you are loyal to God, then he will always save you. There's nothing he can't do, because imagine, Daniel was in a pit. He was all the way at the bottom. There were so many lions. They were all very hungry. But instead of hurting him and attacking him, they laid down and they sat next to him, and their mouths were shut, just because he was loyal to God. So the same way that God saved Daniel, he is also going to save us. All we have to do is be loyal to him, because there's nothing he can't do. So now it's time for us to sing our song. So everyone stand up and help us sing this song. It's time to sing our song. Now we've just talked about how Daniel was thrown in the pit of lions, and how the king was so worried about Daniel that the next day in the morning he ran to the pit to see what had happened. And when he got there, Daniel told him, "I am safe. God shut the mouths of the lions and he protected me." And we learned that if you're loyal to God, he will always protect you. So now we're gonna sing a song about how awesome God is, because he was able to protect Daniel, and he will always protect us. So everyone stand up and help us sing this song.
From heaven above with wisdom, power, and love.
Okay, it's time to do our craft. Now, we've just learned about how Daniel came out of the pit of lions and how he was safe and how there was no scratch on him anywhere, and he was safe because God had protected him, because Daniel decided to remain loyal to God and to not hide from God or pretend that he doesn't know God's word. So, what we're going to make here is we're going to make a mask that has a lion, but this lion, we've drawn him with his mouth shut, because remember, when Daniel was put into the pit, God sent an angel to shut the mouths of the lion so they would not hurt him. So let's make our lion mask. So first thing we need to do is we've drawn here the face of a lion, the shape of a lion. But as you can see, this lion doesn't have eyes. So what we have here is we have very thin lines that we're going to use to cut out our circles. So we have a circle here, and we'll have a circle here. And once we cut these out, this is going to be where our eyes are going to be. Then we have this big circle at the back over here, which we're going to use so that we can have a base for our mask. Then we have these strips, which we're going to cut into thinner strips and use them to make the hair for our lion. And then these are our lion's ears. So let's start by making our mask. First thing I need to do is cut out the eyes. So put everything aside and take your big lion's face with its big lion's nose and let us cut out the eyes of our lion. So we need to make circles. So fold a little bit of the top corner of your mask. Then make a cut here. Remember, we've already drawn very small circles, very thin circles. So make a very small cut. And once you make that small cut, open up your paper and look, we'll have a hole in the middle where we can fit our scissors and take them round. So fit your scissors and take them round and cut out your circle. And there we go, we have our eye. Now let's do the same thing to the other side. And remember, be very careful when you're using scissors so you don't hurt yourself. So, like we said, fold a little bit at the corner. Then make a small hole. Then open up your paper and cut your circle. Okay, once you get to the end, we have the holes for our lion's eyes. So when you put this over your face, you can see through. So we have a lion's face, okay? Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put that aside, and I need you to take the strips of paper. Remember, we had different strips of paper. So we're going to take these strips of paper and we're going to fold them all in half. So fold them lengthwise. Then we're going to make a cut down the middle. So where you folded, that line where you folded, take your scissors and cut them. Just so that we can have more strips of paper so that our lion can have a lot of hair. Then again, we're going to fold each of those papers in half, but instead of folding them widthwise, we'll fold them along its length. Fold them in half. And then again, we're going to cut down that line. And we'll do the same thing for the other half. So now we have all of these strips that are going to help us make up the hair of our lion. Now, the last thing we need to do before we put our lion together is we need to take this face. Remember, there was that big circle paper that we're going to use as the base for our mask. We need to take it and we need to mark where our eyes are, and then we need to make a hole where our eyes are in this circle. Okay, so once you mark them, do the same thing we did for the mask. Fold a little bit at the corner, make a hole, and cut a circle for our eyes. So don't worry if it goes outside the paper a little bit. This is just that we have a hole that you can see through for our mask. Okay, and the same thing with your circle on the other side, and don't worry if it goes out a little bit because we are going to cover it with the rest of our masks. Okay, so once we have the spaces that are going to mark as our holes, next thing we need to do is we need to put everything together. So first thing we're going to start with is we're going to start with these strips of papers, and I want you to arrange them randomly. So remember, we'll use this to mark where our holes are, and then we'll take the strips of papers and just arrange them around our lion so it looks like his hair flying everywhere. Remember, all of this hair will meet somewhere at the center of our paper, and that center is what we're going to use to stick down this hair. So just go all the way around. Remember to avoid the eyes so that we'll still be able to see through the eyes. Then go all the way around and give your lion hair. Okay, so once our lion has hair, we're going to take off the top part. We're just using that to measure, and then we're going to staple all of these pieces together. Now make sure you can see through the eye holes and then staple everything together. All of these tiny pieces that we've just connected together, we'll take our stapler, push it all the way as far as it can go, and staple everything down. So just carefully staple round, or staple in the center, but make sure everything is stable and it won't move around once we have our full lion mask, once we have it on. Then again, make sure you can see out of your mask, so don't cover the holes with the hair. Okay, so once everything is stapled down, next thing we need to do is we need to put the lion's face on top of the mask. So we'll have the lion's face and we'll place it right on top of the mask. So then this one you can staple on the sides, in the center, around it. We're just trying to make sure it is completely stable and it won't move. Okay, last thing we need to do is we need to put the ears for our lion. So at the very top, right next to the eyes, place your ears and staple them together. Okay, then make sure you can see out of your hole, make sure everything is nicely placed. And then here's the thing, once you have your lion ready like this, you can add masks, you can add more hair for your lion, you can color your lion, You can decorate your lion, but one thing we need to do here for our lion is we need to write where this story comes from. So we need to write Daniel 6. So right at the bottom of your lion, just write Daniel chapter 6. And then we need to write what our lesson is for today. So remember, kids, today we've just learned that God protects and saves his people no matter what. So the way he saved Daniel, God will always save us. So write, God will always save us. So God will always save us. Okay, now once you have your lion mask, you've decorated it like you want, you've colored it like you want, you can take your mask, you can hang it around, or you can give it strings and then you can put it over your face. So you can wear this and you can cover your face, and whenever you see this, you'll remember the story of Daniel in Daniel chapter 6 and how Daniel was saved by God and God shut the mouths of the lions so they could not get him. So this is our craft for today, and that has been our lesson for today. Until next time, bye!